Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Documentary Club. I'm Jeff Jones, and with me today is Susan, Katie, and Jack for the live. And so, before we get into the documentary talking about Take Care of Maya, I'd like to introduce everybody one at a time and check in to see how they've been. Susan, it feels like it's been a little bit. A couple weeks maybe we haven't spoke. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great, Jeff. I went on vacation and I'm back and pretty well rested up from having so much fun. So thanks for having me today.
Well, thanks for being here. And Katie, how are you doing today?
Hello, I'm good. Doing all right. Oh man, this documentary, this is disturbing one.
This one's got you fired up, ready to
Oh,
go.
it just made me ill. Anyway, yeah.
It
Ready
made
to
you
talk
feel ill.
about
Yeah, yeah. And last but not least, Jay Jacks, Uncle Jack,
it.
Judge Jack.
Judge Jack, whatever you want to be called today. How are you doing, bud?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm not jealous that that Susan went on really cool vacation for 10 days. No, I'm glad she got to go. That's awesome. She said it sounded like she had a great time. No, just did the same old things. Looking forward to temperatures falling, which they continue to do so here. I don't know about where the rest of you live, but that's always good. And this Hurricane Helene, not to get off on any weird news, but hit down south around Asheville. Asheville, I don't know how much you guys keep up with it, but Asheville was really decimated. And we lived there for 6 years, I think. Yeah, 6 years, something like that. We lived there, moved there in early '99 and lived there until 2005. And but man, it got hammered by just things falling together badly. Kind of the perfect storm for them to just get dumped on. And of course, there's a lot of rivers and that so forth in the mountain region there that it just makes it worse anyway. So, but I guess things are slowly beginning to kind of get back to some normalcy. It's going to take them weeks though to really get stuff. It was oh man, what a mess. Anyway,
Yeah, it looks
Hey,
really bad.
that's
We have a couple friends from there, and they both happen to, well, couple is in Oklahoma when it happened, and the other was in Texas, so they weren't there, but and couldn't get back, I guess. But
oh man,
yeah, anyway, yeah.
yeah. We know some people that live there, and luckily for them, they were in an area that didn't flood, but there are a lot of other people, their houses and cars and everything is just destroyed. Anyway, that's all I got about that. I'm doing well. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much too, Jack. Not that there's too much structure in our lives, but we do want to talk about Take Care of Maya first off, and then maybe we will at the end of the show, if we remember, somebody remind me to talk, Jack, remind me to mention what's next week so we can have some continuity in our broadcasting, so we can tease everybody at the end.
Yep.
Stay tuned for the end, and we'll tell you what video we're going to, or maybe we can just say it now, Jack, before we forget. We don't forget. We
Sure.
can't blame ourselves. And what, Jack? Do you want to tell everybody what we're doing next week?
Yeah, we're going back to the art world and looking at a documentary. It's I think it came out in 2020. Is that right?
I believe so. Yep.
Yeah. It's called Made You Look, and it's about a this woman was actually several people involved, but this woman called herself an art dealer. I guess she kind of was, but she gets her hands. Well, this is kind of a whole mechanism behind the scenes. She starts peddling these fake paintings to this art dealer that's been around for 160 freaking years. I mean, they're solid, and they've just done well for well over 100 years at that point. Anyway, turns out a lot of these paintings were fake, and it gives that whole backstory and a lot of stuff that happens. It's insane how this went off the train. Went off the tracks. It's a good one.
What's it
What
on?
platform?
Netflix. I'm gonna try to drop a link here in the. I got a sticky mouse right now. It's a little sticky.
A sticky
work.
mouse.
Sticky mouse? What's that all about?
What?
I do think I've seen this, but I'm not positive.
I will. I'm gonna drop the. I'll drop that link into the YouTube here shortly.
Is
I've
it
never
episodes or one?
No, it's one hour and a half, but it's about an hour and a half long, something like that.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what it is. Hour and 30 minutes.
A one and done, as we like to say, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's. I thought that I had seen it, or at least some of it, but I hadn't.
It is one
Crazy.
of those documentaries that I saw a long time ago, and I think actually I was teaching an art class at the time, a summer school art class at a high school, and I think we watched that because a lot of questions arise about what is real.
Yeah.
And the conversation kind of at one point devolves into, but you said it was beautiful. I said it was beautiful. I didn't say it was real.
Right.
Well, if we're talking about art, if you like it and it's a beautiful piece of art, isn't that a real piece of art? No, it's not real because this person didn't make it. You see
Well,
what I'm saying? Where you get into
yeah.
the subjective realm of what is real, what is fake, and teaser, they kind of tell us in the documentary that a lot of the works of art in the museums that you go and see may not be real. Just throwing that out there.
Well, and a lot of things that drive price, of course, is it being painted by the original artist. But not only that, I can't remember what the word is. I've probably got it written down somewhere. It's the history of that painting, and that's what provenance is what they're looking for.
Provenance.
Yeah.
So they're trying to, you're basically paying for a lot of that too, because there's a
Well,
story
it
that goes behind it.
authenticates it where it's been,
Correct.
over the years. Yeah.
Correct. So they talk about that quite a bit in the documentary too, which I found really interesting. I guess I thought about it, but didn't really think too much about it. So I get it.
I think it's
So, yeah.
just amazing
that-
how some artists can replicate work of art so
Yeah,
well.
They really get into a little bit of that at the end of that documentary about some of the stuff going on overseas.
And
It's great.
They'll go and find old frames from the period,
Mhm,
and they'll take
And
the art out of the old frame, and then they'll
And canvas.
and
And
canvas
canvas.
and old paint, and usually that's how they get caught. And the spoiler alert in this one, one of the ways it's uncovered is that there was some yellow paint that was
Yep.
used in one of the paintings that didn't exist at the time of
right.
The pigments.
artist.
The pigments
Mhm.
were
I
created.
forget who it was. One of the artists
Ro-
had died in
Roth- Rothko or
it might have been a Rothko, I can't remember, but anyway, he had died in 54 and the paint didn't come out till the 70s. So it was like,
painting
okay.
painting beyond the grave, are you?
Well, yeah, absolutely. And in fact, that gives me an idea about a future documentary that we might have to talk about, imitating and forging wine.
Oh,
Ever seen that one?
I have not.
That's a
Wow.
good one.
I'm gonna put that on the list because that one is kind of pairs well with this documentary. So maybe I'll dig that one up and we could check that one out. But before we move on, I wanted to welcome in people from the chat and kind of address a few comments that we have in the chat. It looks like Becca Chu left a couple comments early on, but she wasn't able to make it. But I still want to address those comments. She said that basically, I'll paraphrase that she couldn't make it to this one, and she never watched the documentary because her mom had a similar or the same disease syndrome, and it was heartbreaking to watch her mom. So I could only imagine if you had to go through that with a family member, but to have your young child to go through it is probably magnifies it even worse. So thanks, Becca Chu, for stopping in. And we have SK Remit Official, our friend all the way from, is it Bangladesh? I can't remember. Do you guys remember?
I think it is
Oh.
Bangladesh.
Okay, they'll tell us.
Yeah.
And then Susan, actually, you left a few comments as well. And then Stuart, nice to see you. Thank you for joining, Stuart. I hope you are doing well as well. I had a couple comments left on the video. Do you guys want to just open it up and then do comments after, or do you want to do comments first? What do you feel?
Whichever.
Your
Whichever.
Whatever
call.
you want, Jeff.
Maybe we'll start with a comment and that'll spring some discussion for us. So let me see if I can zoom in on this bugger so we can all see it. So this is a comment from Marmite, a new free subscriber. Thanks for subscribing, you guys. I really appreciate it. Maya was also afraid of anything medical. She had to ask position, and the hospital would get everything that happened in an appointment. Maya had to stop going to the therapist that Mr. Anderson, the lawyer, got for her. It was agreed to by all parties that it would be confidential. Nope, the hospital got it all. Did you know that her lawyer, Mr. Anderson, actually sold out to fund this case, sold his house to fund his case? I didn't know that. So it looks like the lawyer may have mortgaged his house to be able to do that. I didn't know that. So thank you for that, Carmen. Marmite left a couple comments about that. I don't know if there's anything that you guys want to pick out of this one. Little new information that I didn't know about.
Oh, I think her lawyer was able to buy a much more fantastic house these days.
I would imagine so. But I did not know he mortgaged his house to
Yeah, that's
continue the
wild.
lawsuit. Yeah.
We're
Might have
sold
been
it.
some.
Well, the hospital, they kept getting injunctions or whatever, blocking it going to trial. Just kept blocking, because they just got this bottomless pit of money apparently to pay these high-priced lawyers.
That's
Yeah.
probably the strategy, right? To have enough money to
Drain you. That's
Yeah.
why all those people, never, failed to. That's what that's where Aaron Brockovich steps in, right?
yeah.
Because
Yeah.
all
Great,
those people,
Great,
like, they couldn't fight a lawyer against this giant corporation. They'll
What a-
bleed you dry.
What a great movie!
Yeah, great movie.
I
Aaron
love that
Brockovich.
movie.
Yeah. I just saw the clip of Aaron Brockovich where she had everyone's phone numbers memorized, all 300
Yep.
clients.
Yeah, another clip. Of course, that older actor, I can't remember his name. Of course, he died in the last couple of years. What a great guy!
Mm.
Perfect. That was a perfect role for him. He nailed it.
Yeah, it was a good movie.
Yeah.
Okay, we got another comment from Marmite. Beata was a mother fighting for her child. There was a lot more abuse going on in that hospital than you spoke about. So, we don't, just to address that, obviously, we don't hit every clip. We don't, mention everything in our, in our truncated videos that we put out. But yeah, I do believe there was more abuse that we didn't mention in our video. And, the part that got me kind of worked up, and I even, I said it in the video, is when the social worker was like, yeah, you're going to go to foster care and I'm going to adopt you. You're going to be my daughter. Like, whoa.
What?
So creepy. Oh my gosh.
That's
That woman.
That's way too far. That's way
That's so
over the line.
abusive, that's a mental torture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You already have a
Little
kid
girl.
who's in pain. She's separated from her mother who, her mother
Mom was a bit overbearing, but okay.
Yeah, but I mean, when it's your kid
Hey.
and your
Yeah.
kid's in pain, you know,
Yeah.
how you respond to that is not always probably correct in the
Oh.
eyes of others. So
I can
Yeah.
tell you that for 100% fact.
yeah, for sure.
So I get it.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I get it. I mean, I'm
Oh,
talking about
okay.
mom being a bit overbearing. I won't say way over the line, but certainly she kept hard pressure on whoever she dealt with for Maya.
Yeah, absolutely. The comment continues. As much as Beata fought age, complied with everything they asked for her, even to the point where Jack and Beata were going to get a divorce so Maya could come home. I didn't remember hearing that part. This might be some inside baseball. Do you guys remember that part?
I don't recall.
Well, no, I don't. Not from the documentary.
Okay,
but
so it must be from
Yeah.
outside
Yeah.
the documentary. So
I did watch part of the trial. I didn't watch all of it, but I did. But yeah, I was aware of that. It may have come out at trial. I don't know.
yeah,
I
right.
remember when that deputy or detective was questioning Jack, and she said, if Maya were to come home and there was a no contact order given, would you be willing to go along with that? Which I thought was, wait, what? You're out of line, lady. But I remember that, and Jack said, of course, said yes. You know, he's trying to get her out of there. So I don't know if that
Absolutely.
was touching on that or not.
Well, I appreciate the comments out there. Also, to finish out this one, I had a few points in this one comment. Beata didn't take her own life because of stress. She took her own life because she knew Jack would be able to bring their beloved daughter home. Maya coming home 5 days later confirmed that. I mean, it's possible, but I don't know if, it's not a guarantee that it was going to work. And, I do think, that's your take. You're totally welcome to your take. Maybe that's not my take, but I appreciate your comment, Marmite, and I appreciate your subscription. I do think that the end result was that after Beata committed suicide, I think the state and everybody was like, okay, let's move this along. Right, let's find some conclusion to this. So I think
shit, we're in trouble now.
Uh-huh.
I mean, what's your take on that? That's a great question. Spin off of this comment, of course, but if you can address that somehow, you guys are welcome to.
I think it's possible. That's one of the reasons she did it. Her mom took her life. Is to get her daughter out of that situation.
I guess it's like in a logical sense, if Beata is no longer in the picture, then there's no case for abuse, right?
Did she leave a note? I don't remember.
She did.
Yeah.
A lengthy one.
Maybe I just felt like at that final point where she wasn't allowed to hug her daughter.
Yep.
I mean, that would just be too much.
That's nothing. That's
how would
nothing
that make? How would that make you feel as a mother who you're already out of control of helping your daughter, and now you can't even comfort her in the most. You get to see her in a courtroom or what? I mean, you can't even have any physical contact with her now. You
Right.
can't.
It really is just
even in a court, even in the court
scenario.
with the judge and the cops. You know what I mean? The bailiff is there and the judge is there. You can't abuse anyone in front. A hug is not abuse. You know what I mean? Like, how harsh do we have to be here with these, with treating families this way? Like, how
it's unbelievably cruel of that judge to do that.
It was really cold blooded.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
think it
I
was
don't know. I mean, that would definitely put me in a desperate place, and it could have been a combination of reasons why she
Yeah,
Sure.
ended her life.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know, Marmite might be correct, and that's one of the things. So, like you said, Jeff, it did end that way.
Yeah, it had the end result of that. It seems the outcome. Okay. And then one more comment we got on this video, and it's not about the video, but it's more about maybe a suggestion, and that is Menendez Brothers documentary.
Ooh, I was
Have you
gonna
guys
suggest
started?
that. I
Are you
just
gonna?
I haven't seen it, but I
I
saw it
started the first
listed.
5 minutes,
Mhm.
and then I thought then it seemed like it wasn't a documentary, like it was a live action thing.
Mm.
So I turned it off. So maybe I'll have to go
Like a
back to it.
docudrama.
Maybe it's a docudrama. Yeah, maybe that's
I
what it
hate
is.
those.
I'm not a fan
Yeah.
of that. It's hard to watch. I like just straight documentary
Yeah, I don't want to.
myself.
I take it
Yeah,
back.
they're
Docudrama.
I'll never forget those boys on the stand during that trial. The way they broke down. I don't think that was acting.
Interesting. Yeah, so there is it. I don't know if is it a straight documentary. I'll have to watch more of it and see. Oh, look what they look like now. Oh man. Maybe I shouldn't play too much of this. They might flag my channel here. But anyway, we'll take a look at it. If it's a cool documentary, yeah. We'll definitely take a look at that. And who was that? Oh, Britt Morris. So thank you for your comment, Britt Morris. I really appreciate that. So thank you, Britt Morris and Marmite, for commenting and checking out the video and free subscribing. I really appreciate that as well. And I appreciate all the members who support the channel. And you can be a member too. So click the membership button below and join the club, documentary club. Let's dig into this one a little bit more though. We want to talk about Take Care of Maya a little bit more. Jack, you picked this one, and so I'll let you go first. I'll let you kind of have something to say about it.
Well, this one it was really polarizing for me because, of course, of Caitlin, and understanding, when you get into these hospital situations. Now, I got to tell you, by and large, I'm going to say 99.5% of our experiences were positive with Caitlin, with people dealing with people in various, hospitals and so forth. You do run across the rough ones from time to time, but it was really rare. And these people doing jobs that there's just no way I could do. It would crush me emotionally. It would crush me dealing with. It's one thing to deal with a sick adult, but a child, man. So it was especially polarizing for me. I remember the first time I saw it, and it was because of, as we go through the documentary, you begin to find out the actions of the doctors saying, well, you're just abusing your kid. You're just pumping her full of ketamine because it's Munchausen by proxy. And they had absolutely no proof of that whatsoever. And on top of that, the doctor that diagnosed her had all the supporting testing, everything. The one that they finally got to, that was another part of it. They call it doctor shopping, but it wasn't at all. And they completely misread it. And then doubled and tripled down, bringing in was her name Sally Smith from, she comes in acting like she's somebody from the hospital, doesn't identify herself otherwise, but she's actually a third party that they employ. And immediately, within 10 minutes, she's convinced. And then all of a sudden, Jack is thrown out of the room. You guys can't, you're cut off. State's taking control of your kid.
She
I'm
thinks
going to tell
Maya's
you,
making it, right?
yep, she's one of the ones that thinks she's faking it. I'm going to tell you, my wife would have exploded. She would have driven her car through the hospital. I'm telling you, she would have.
If they would have said that your pain was faked,
she would have absolutely annihilated people. And she's not a violent person at all, all. But you piss her off. She got into a couple of situations where she went freaking 180 times 4. But like I said, we were lucky. We had really good caretakers.
That's good.
Wonderful nurses, doctors, really caring people. So, and then we found out, of course, later on, this one hospital has, I don't know I can't remember the number of how many more problems they had versus what others in the region and the country had. So, and then ultimately, with mom taking her own life, and then what that led to, it's crazy. And then, we found out that the hospital charged the insurance for the exact diagnosis that they said, nope, that's not what you got. We're going to charge your insurance for it anyway. That's crazy. What?
I can't believe that. I mean, I can believe it, but it's like the left hand didn't know what the right hand was doing, kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like billing departments, like, well, what do you want to bill it as? Well,
right.
How can you sit there and say we're questioning the diagnosis if you know what I mean? It's just ridiculous on its face.
Doctors can be so arrogant
agree.
and believe they're the only ones that, know what's going on. But the social worker and the social worker, she's just scary. I mean, to have that kind of power is very scary over your child. I mean, when Maya went to Mexico and got those heavy doses of ketamine, it actually helped her for almost a year or something like that?
It was a year, almost a year until she relapsed.
Yeah, and if she was faking it, why would she say that helped? If she was really
faking
it, she would just keep faking it and say nothing's helping. Nothing.
Yeah, she had an appetite. She was able to eat. She gained weight. She went back to school. She played with her friends. Everything went kind of to walk. Her feet and legs went back to normal.
Mm-hmm. These people in these roles, the investigator, Sally Smith, the social worker, Kathy Beatty, I think in situations like this where things are shady, it would be interesting to see the number. And I know, Jack, you mentioned that there were several other cases of medical child abuse. I think that's what you were saying. But it would be interesting to see if it's all of these same players that are profiting from this situation that they create. In Tulsa County in Oklahoma right now, there's a racket going on where and there's a lawsuit was just recently filed finally, but it involves DHS and certain handful of attorneys who are connected to a couple guardian ad litems, and then there are even a few judges that are in on the deal. And it's like a kidnapping of people's children. So in cases that I know, they've taken children from someone who in this one situation I'll talk about, the father was the abuser to the mother, and then also SA to one of the children, and he ended up with custody of all 3 children.
Oh my God.
It's all of these same people keeping them away from the mom. And this particular mother happened to be a producer for the First 48, that show. Did you guys ever watch that?
Oh, yes. I love that show.
So she's a smart cookie, and she's been representing herself, and all kinds of legislators are involved now, and something might finally be happening, but it involves tens of dozens of families and children, and it's sickening. And you look at the people that are responsible for making these decisions and how much money they're making off of this thing.
So this is a money-making scheme between X amount of whoever these people are. What you're.
And I wonder, is this medical child abuse thing the same thing? Is that the same sort of thing?
Well, they didn't say that in the documentary, but they certainly hinted at it.
That's in Tulsa County?
That's in Tulsa County, yeah.
Is there a documentary about that, Kay?
No.
I'm recalling a documentary, and I think it was in Texas, where this one hospital, this one woman diagnosed Munchausen by proxy in just inexplicable number of cases that came into
that
her.
Rings a bell.
Yeah.
I swear to God, there was a Law and Order episode of really similar to what you guys are talking about.
Wasn't
and
there
a lot of those episodes are real cases.
I wish I could remember the name of that, but I believe it's in Texas, and
it is. That's one of the cases that Nosy brought to us long ago. There's a documentary.
Okay.
I can't remember her name, that woman's name. I could probably find it.
They had the little girl in hospice, if I recall correctly.
Well, the one I'm thinking about was her son, and he definitely had medical issues. I mean, he was born with them, and God, been years since I watched it. I'll try to find it. It's another interesting.
I'm sure that's probably the same one, Jack.
Yeah, but the thing is that they showed that form. I don't know if you guys remember it in the Myers documentary, talking about the various diagnoses that they can check out, tick box or whatever. But the one for Munchausen by proxy was a write-in, medical abuse or whatever I can't remember what the exact wording that they wrote in. I'm like,
medical child abuse is what they wrote in.
Thank you. That was it. And I'm thinking to myself, wait, what? But then you're turning around and billing the insurance for the exact diagnosis that they came in with and how it took to treat her. And this treatment with ketamine, very low doses for some people, worked fine.
Yeah, and the interesting thing is, after she comes back home 5 days after her mom takes her own life, then they go get another opinion, and she's diagnosed with exactly the same thing that the Mexico doctor Kirkpatrick diagnosed her with.
Well, Kirkpatrick was a U.S. doctor, but
wait a minute.
the treatment was in
Mexico.
Yeah, they had the
Tesla.
ketamine. The ketamine coma treatment was in Mexico. They don't do.
Yeah.
do
I'm
it here.
sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
I took
understood what
notes,
you
but
meant.
I guess not very well.
I understood what you meant.
Passing any test here.
Did any of you watch any of this trial?
No, I
did
didn't even
not.
know that it was televised.
You know, I think I did watch a little bit. Think about because remember we were talking about this years ago, Susan. Remember?
Uh-huh. It was a couple years ago, I'd say, the trial was.
Yes. They kept, like I said, they kept delaying it because they could. They could
I
injunctions
think
and
she ended up with $100 and some million verdict.
no, it's more than that.
It was a
The
lot.
verdict was 261 million.
Oh, is that what it was? Yeah.
And then the of course the lawyers were like, then the judge come back and reduced it by 47 million because of whatever. So it took it down to 213 million.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it was pretty close to a
And-
record.
It was painful, and it should be
Yeah.
a painful judgment for what they did
Yeah.
to that family.
But Maya was actually doing pretty well. She was not on, as I recall, she was not on any medication. She had gone to college and
Yeah, I can't remember, but with that diagnosis, chronic whatever it's called, like chronic pain or whatever it was, I've got it written down. But nonetheless, in a lot of cases, it just goes away as quickly as it comes on. It just you go into relapse and it's done.
yeah,
Not always.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I think it can relapse like that. But the defense was just disgusting. They didn't admit any wrong whatsoever.
Oh
How
no,
long-
no.
You can never admit wrong.
How long was the trial?
Maybe a couple weeks.
Yeah.
That is one of the comments that I didn't share, and it said you really should watch the trial. That was one of the comments that was left by Marmite as well. So if you guys,
Interesting.
apparently it's really interesting. So if you guys come across it or you find it, drop a link.
Is it on Law and Crime? Maybe, Susan.
Oh, I imagine it's one of those streaming channels because I watched it on there.
Maybe Anjanette Levy.
Time or-
Maybe our favorite reporter,
Court
Anjanette
TV.
Levy.
I don't recall which one. They probably both had it actually.
Probably.
So I did look up that Law and Order episode, and then I went to see if it relates to a real case. And apparently, former Judge Mark Curavella sent thousands of kids to jail while accepting millions in kickbacks for a for-profit prison in a Cash for Kids scandal. So the episode of SVU that I was talking about was based on a true story, which they do that. They do that quite a bit. They always say they don't. This is not related to the case at all. That's what they say. But we all know what they're doing, right?
If I remember, memory serves, and maybe Susan and Kay, you can pop in here, but there's a documentary. It's called Cash for Kids, and it's happened in Pennsylvania. And it was This is an old. I've thought about this documentary and maybe suggest it, but it's pretty old. But it's definitely a good documentary. I don't know if it's on Netflix anymore or not. You remember it,
2013.
Susan and
No,
Okay.
not right off the top of my head.
they were taking these kids that were, I mean, you had some problems. I'm not talking about killing their friends and their parents. I'm just talking about kids that have gotten in trouble.
Delinquent.
Yeah, basically, they just got their head kind of screwed on backwards, and just need, you just got to, positive reinforcement. Anyway, this judge, and I can't remember who was on the other side for the state. Anyway, this judge kept sending these kids to the same facility, whatever, It was millions of freaking dollars. It was some of them were ridiculous. They did not deserve to go to there. This judge was handing out these pretty harsh judgments against
Is it
these
this one,
kids.
Jack?
Let me see.
Cash for Kids full length.
I see
not-
one.
Yeah.
If not, it's really similar.
That's the one about the judge. Is that the one you're?
Yes, it's got the judge.
Well, this is about the
and-
guy that I was just telling you about, Kia Varela. This is the exact same one. The story that I was telling you about, the Law and
Yeah.
Order one, based on the documentary that you watched, Jack, is the
Yeah.
same judge.
It's
So we're right
From
on.
2013. Yeah.
Kids for
So-
Cash.
Yeah, I dropped a link in the chat, so if you guys want to check that one out, we probably will watch that because we're always
rough,
on the
man.
lookout for- yeah,
It's rough. Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Kids for cash. Yeah.
Well, it sounds pretty rough just for a title,
You know
It
the
should
other
be Cash for Kids,
Oh, it says it's on Amazon Prime.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
is-
A lot of people have that. So maybe we can do that. We
Cash
try
for
to keep
Kids
things
is
Netflix, but
for free on YouTube. That's why I shared the link. It's also on
Okay.
Amazon, but it's for free on YouTube.
okay.
Oh, cool.
Well, I mean, we try to, pick things that are interesting and trying to stay a little more current. But some of the older documentaries are great. I mean, they really are. I mean, like, Outcry didn't go back too far, but it's still a few years old.
Mhm.
But it's
And that's
such
one
a
of the
great.
that's like the most viewed video that we have.
It's
it's
such
such
an
a-
emotional doc, though.
It
It's
is.
so gut wrenching.
It is. That
Yeah.
kid. I feel so bad for him because it literally. I'm not gonna say it ruined his life. Obviously,
Oh.
him and his wife now, but strong people, and didn't give up.
Yeah,
and they
thank
won't.
God.
And,
The way it turned out. I
I
mean,
mean, that could drive some people to drive off the cliff. Seriously, literally.
yeah.
You know, that guy, Greg Kelly, he kind of he reminded me of Daniel Holtzclaw so much because
God, me too.
they were
Yeah.
both dedicated to football their
Football.
entire lives. They had goals. They they just focused solely on meeting this goal and making a new one, meeting this goal and making a new one. And I think that sort of training throughout their entire lives was really beneficial for them. And with Greg getting through the process, surviving prison, coming out of it, not being a victim. He did get a settlement in a civil suit, bought his mom a house, but he and his wife, Gabri, they are both entrepreneurs. He has an axe company. She has a dance company. They just had their first child. They're really doing things. I mean, Greg's training for a marathon, and every day he trains. I think on Instagram he shares his training, and he says all of those same things that he was sick one day last week, and he was really upset at himself because he was laying in bed. He didn't get up and run, and that's just not him. And I think I see a lot of that in Daniel as well. And when things beyond his control happen in the prison system, or, when judges rubber stamp petitions and just shut him down at every turn at getting in front of a judge again to show his evidence, somehow he's able mentally to reroute that disappointment and make a new goal and rise above it. It's just amazing.
turn it positive
Mhm.
instead of going negative. Turn it positive. Turn it positive.
You know,
And
you
that's
see that actually with Stephen Avery also.
Yep, you do. Even though his, his personality and shortcomings hurt him, it's
But I
kind of
think
that
the
same.
innocence is what does it. When you know you're innocent.
Yeah,
You know,
I
but a
agree.
lot of things in prison happen to you that are designed to break you.
Yep.
And
I agree with that.
Strip you down.
it's really interesting to see how close sometimes people come to breaking and then how they pull themselves out of it.
Well, and not to interrupt that story, but you think about Maya's situation. She really was kind of imprisoned as well. I mean, in a real sense. Finally,
Absolutely.
they let Dad come back and start visiting, but nope. And then even Mom's conversations were monitored. Like, Mom was basically put in.
Redirect, Jack.
Yeah.
Redirect your conversation. Don't talk about the
Dude,
calls being monitored. Redirect.
that pissed
Can you
me off
imagine?
so bad. No.
Then shut up.
That's
Then
what-
I can hear you in the background. Shut up
Yeah.
then. And then I don't
Yeah.
have to redirect,
Right. I'm talking to my daughter. You
God.
quit talking to her. You're taking the time what little time I get to talk
God.
with my kid,
If I
and
could
you
punch
want to
someone
interrupt it.
through the
Like I-
phone.
Like I
and
said,
shut up. Yeah.
See, it's
Like I
all
said-
of those things like that broke her. You know,
Exactly.
Mhm.
all of it. It's not just one thing. I mean, her
No.
marriage is falling apart because she's not responding the way that her husband wants her to respond. They're fighting. He's saying, "You're making it worse. You're just making it worse. Will you just will you please stop?"
Right.
I mean, so it just was a myriad of things that
It is. I can see it both ways. Like I can kind of agree with both parents simultaneously. Like
Of
if
course.
you're coming from his view, it's like you really need to just back off and let it go. And then from her side, it's like I can't. I don't have that choice to back down.
Yeah.
Like I'm not geared that way. I can't. Like my brain is saying I have to make sure that she's okay. I can't back down. So it's
Right.
an immovable object and a what do they say? Two immovable objects and an unstoppable force. Something's got to give, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right. Stuart mentions the staircase. I have mixed feelings about that case. I don't know about you guys. I have
The
real mixed
owl
feelings.
did it.
The owl.
I
have mixed
just
feelings about it.
looked it up, and that one's streaming on Netflix still. And I looked it
Yeah.
up, and I have seen episode 1 and 2 according to Netflix, but I didn't finish it, and it's a 10-part series. So
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah, we typically
long
think
one.
It's long. Yeah.
in
we
order
typically
for
don't
us to
those.
do that, we would have to pick like 2 clips per episode or something. I mean, it's possible.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, we could do it and then summarize, several episodes into, a
Sure.
shorter version. But yeah, the long ones are really difficult to do what we do. And maybe, I'm not trying to be, because I liked it too, Stuart, personally. I thought it was a really well made documentary. But I can see this one from both sides, but the cops really hosed it up. They really that blowpoke thing. Oh my God, it blew my mind too. I was like, wait, what? Anyway, another one. I can't remember if we've done it or not. I don't think we have. What's that one? Kay and Susan, where that lady lawyer, Rosie Scarpiccio.
Trial 4.
Yeah, we haven't done trial 4.
I
That,
started
that's
put
the
that on
watching
one
the
that.
she's in.
Yeah, we need to
Started
put that on the
watching
list.
some of that. Okay.
It's great.
Carpiccio.
Yeah, Scarpiccio. It is a great documentary. It's great.
Yeah.
Well, Stuart
is.
says he's watched The Staircase multiple times and he's still not 100% sure what. And I think that's fair to most documentaries. Most of them, we don't know and even if it looks, there's still doubt, right? There's still some doubt.
Some of them, yeah, there's
Um,
like you got that lingering, you know, ding over here
Absolutely.
on the other side. It's like, wait, what? Maybe,
Have you guys seen this one? The disappearance of Madeline McCann?
I have.
I think I've
Yeah,
seen that
I
one.
think I watched it.
I have.
Yeah.
I
Very
can't
familiar
remember.
with the story.
Yeah, it's a really unusual case. There's a lot of questions, the parents going to dinner, leaving the kids asleep. And I mean, hotel rooms locked. I get it, and you feel pretty comfortable that no one can really get in. And there's just, yeah, it's such an odd set of
I think the
circumstances.
German did it.
Yeah, there's been all kinds of theories that have come out, since. It popped up in the news a few years ago again about something. I can't remember.
The German.
Was that what it was? The last one that
Mm-hmm.
popped up?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's good though.
So many people think that the parents were in on that, and I highly doubt that myself. But
Yeah.
We got quite a few docs to get to, Jack.
We do. Yeah,
The list is piling up for us.
we got to crack the whip here.
That are still, yeah. Well, can only do one at a time, I guess. Can only do one at a time.
That's right.
So,
I got one more thing to add about.
Awesome.
There's another scene that really bothered me. Event that happened while Maya was captive in the hospital. And it's that bitch that came in and stripped her down to basically her underwear.
Oh, Jesus.
Took pictures.
Dude. Yeah. Dude. No. You don't do that. You just don't do it. You don't.
Like I said in the video, if that was an adult, instead of Maya, just put it in like a 20-year-old adult.
Right. That's a fault.
And the hospital pinned her down and took pictures of her without her permission.
Yeah. That's right.
So how is it
child
any different
abuse
for a kid? Yeah,
they were abusing that girl the whole time she was in there.
We're basically holding you hostage because you're being abused at home, and then what do we end up doing? Abusing, not in quotes, actually abusing you worse.
And you're a liar.
Anything. Yeah. You're a liar. Your mom's a liar. You're going to foster care. I'm gonna adopt you.
Yeah, I'm gonna love you and stroke you, and cartoon weird.
And then we didn't just kind of barely touched on it, but they asked her in the deposition. They asked Sally Smith. So were you? I think it was Sally Smith, right? Which one did they ask her? Were you hugging Maya? That might have been the social worker.
That was the social worker.
Beatty.
Yeah.
Were you hugging Maya? Yeah. We give a lot of children comfort. That's not what I asked you. I asked you, were you hugging Maya?
Yeah, she's.
Do you think Maya liked you? Do you think Maya liked you? I like that question a lot. Yeah, but I'm sure there were times that she hated me because I was the mouthpiece for the hospital, and it's like, nonsensical. All right, any well, what do you guys think about that? Like, we can linger on that one a little bit. Ladies, your opinion on that abuse that the hospital did to Maya. I'd like to know.
Disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. Now, what was she? 7 or 9? 9 years old?
I think 9
or 10. Well, she probably by that time, by the time that happened, she was.
Oh yeah, a little bit
11,
older.
I think.
She was 11 or 12 at that time when she took the photos of her.
Do you remember, Stacy? How old Maya was when?
How long was she in the hospital?
3 months.
Days. Yeah, 91 or 92 days.
It's a lifetime for a kid.
I
For
would
sure
like
it
to
is.
see the total hospital bill. I would love to see that total.
Yeah, hundreds of thousands of dollars.
You know, and-
probably well over $1 million.
Probably millions.
You know, the thing is this is one of the main reasons I don't chase conspiracies, is because we have conspiracies right in our face, right out in the open, that are happening right in front of us that we don't need to
You sure
dig.
do.
And
Lots
here's
of them.
an example of one right there. I'm convinced that hospital kept her in because they knew how much of a cash cow she was.
Yeah. Yep.
And the insurance company would just keep paying, you know.
Yep.
We don't want to let her out.
Yep.
Let's do more tests. Well, we're not sure. And
Right.
this is, I mean, that's the danger, isn't it, of, you know, private practice, like, or private for-profit healthcare. You know, I'm not quite sure on that diagnosis. Let's run some more tests. Oh, you know what? Turns out we still don't know what it is. Let's run some more tests.
Yeah.
All right. So maybe it was that original thing you came in with. Okay, maybe it was that. Meanwhile, we've racked up $100,000-$200,000 worth of tests, and the insurance company has to pay us.
Yep.
That's not how it should be.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
you know, you want to put your trust into people you're dealing with that, even though they're for-profit hospitals and doctors, I think they should be paid well. I mean, they're doing a really difficult job, but at the same time, there has to be that safety valve, that check that says, "What are you doing?
Mm.
What are you doing?" Right?
Well, don't get me started about the hardworking, because the people that work the hardest in hospitals get paid the least. So,
no doubt. No doubt.
I mean, there's a nursing shortage. There is, you know, there is huge burnout. Like, forget about the whole COVID thing for frontline workers. Like, let's just forget about that for a second. In regular work, regular nurses are overworked, underpaid. Like, that's a huge problem. And then you have these hospitals, like we said, raking in mega profits, record profits every year on the backs of the nurses. You know what I mean? We just had a big nursing strike here in Honolulu, one of the hospitals. The nurses said enough is enough, and you know, we need to be treated with respect. You know, 12-hour shifts, that's already insane. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Mhm.
And to expect them to never make a mistake, right? Because you can't make a mistake in medical. You
No.
can't give someone the wrong medication. That'll kill them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
Not
so
to mention the aides, you know, what the aides, how the aides are treated and how much work gets piled onto them.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, then you add in, you know, these. Well, I guess you really can include doctors, but really it's the nurses that are the backbone, working
I
in
agree.
these special care units, the ICU, these kids that are born, you know, with a lot of problems. These kids that get hurt, burned. You reach a
I mean,
point
they're the ones.
of burnout.
They're the tactile ones. You know, they're the ones that are putting the bandages, changing the bandages, and
Yep.
addressing the burns. The doctors are
Yep.
just diagnosing and telling them what to do. You know,
Right.
this is what it is. This is what they need. Now you carry it out. So who's doing the heavy lifting? You know,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
I have a lot of students that go into the nursing field, and so I read a lot of papers about nursing and nursing burnout. There's a shortage, but there's also this major problem in burnout. And like a lot of our nurses here in Hawaii are travel nurses. We can't even keep them.
Yeah.
Can't even keep them, you know, from our own state. We can't even get in. So there's massive shortage, and I don't know if you can hire your way out of it. I think that those 12-hour shifts they do, like, don't do that. You already have one of the toughest jobs ever, and then you're going to make them work like one and a half times every day. Like, no.
I have two nieces in nursing school right now.
Our daughter got her CNA a few months ago.
They're the angels of the hospital, I think, if there ever was one.
No doubt. Absolutely no doubt.
As long as you don't get Nurse Cratchit. Or
Good ones.
Cratchit?
Yes.
Yeah.
That one flew over the cuckoo's nest.
That's right.
Yeah. All right. Well, last wraps on Take Care of Maya, or do we let this one go forever?
I definitely watch it. Scream at the wall, whatever. It's a great documentary. I give this one high marks.
Great documentary, tragic
Absolutely.
story.
Tragic story. So tragic.
Absolutely.
And
I just wanted
that
to
could have
remind.
been avoided. Sorry, Kay.
That's all right. I just wanted to remind everyone to subscribe to Jeff Jones' channel and hit the bell so you'll get the notification, because he's releasing the videos of the documentary as soon as they get them edited. So I think we've had this one out on YouTube for 3 or 4 days.
Last Wednesday.
And then we meet up every Monday, usually around 5 o'clock, but just get the alerts so you can be informed when he posts the video and come join us.
Right.
Well, thank you so much for that plug.
That was wonderful.
Oh, you're welcome.
To keep you around for a little while longer, doing the hardware, heavy lifting, as they say.
Well, I am the perfect one, remember?
Oh, yep. How could I have forgot? So, last comment from Susan.
Yeah, this is a tough one to watch, but it is worth it. I think it ends up, after the lawsuit and all of that, with a good outcome. As good as can be expected, I guess you would say. Girls living her life, but yeah, it's definitely worth watching. I say, take a gander, and it's not long. It's an hour and 40
hour and a half.
Yeah. So it won't take up days of your time.
All right. Well, appreciate you, Susan, for joining, and Katie and Jack. Of course, Jack, did you have something that you wanted to add on this one?
No. Like I said, it's a really great documentary, tragic story, and I'm glad that at least the Kowalskis, they were finally able to take something away that was painful, extremely painful. I mean, you think about a hospital, whatever, their insurance having to pay out that kind of dinero, and that judgment had to hurt. And that's what it's intended to do. But at least maybe they can take that and build something that will help them the rest of their lives,
Change their ways. The hospital.
Oh, absolutely. I would hope so. And, get rid of these people like this Sally Smith and, oh God, that social worker. It makes my skin crawl. And you just think about Maya, we don't know. And I'm not making any inference that they're abusing other children. But if they were so willing to do that to Maya, you see what I'm saying? Who's to say that?
Well, we saw those examples, right? All those people were saying that the news reporter tracked down, all these families had one thing in common.
Yep.
Smith.
Yep. That's right. And then this is a bigger problem. Of course, we see at the end of the documentary, they're going around the country talking to all these people in different.
Yeah, it's not just Florida and Sally Smith, but it happens around a lot of places where.
Correct.
And I think, just to wrap up, my comments on the overall is that, I think that these powers that were given to hospitals, well, they're, I think it's Title 14, if I'm not mistaken, that it could be a different one, but as a healthcare worker or even as a teacher, we're told, if you see some abuse, you are under legal obligation to report it. You don't have a choice. You have to report this. And it's well-meaning, it's well-intentioned, that it seems like, well, that seems like the right thing. If you see something, say something, right? But what it does is it puts power into the hands of people like Sally Smith, who can trump up charges on people, and there's no if there is legal recourse, it takes months and months, right? So while you're waiting months and months, they have your child.
Well, what makes this worse is that Kilpatrick contacted her directly and said, "Here's what is going on." She ignored it.
She ignored him.
She ignored him completely. It's like she's the problem. I mean, yeah, mom could be overbearing, and that's how moms, a lot of moms and dads are. They're really overbearing about the care of their children, and I get that. I get it. At the same time, to me, this falls squarely on the hospital. I'm sorry, it just does. Because once she got the diagnosis from Kilpatrick, he's a certified blah blah blah. He's not some quack from Neptune. He's a certified doctor. She should have said, "Okay, wait a minute, let's check this out." She didn't do that at all.
That's right. And we don't know what the settlement was. We do know that she settled. And
I meant to look that up. I didn't, because that case was settled out of court long before the one with the hospital. She worked for Suncoast, whatever the hell it is. I can't remember the name of that organization, that company that she worked for, third party. Anyway, great documentary. I highly recommend everyone to watch it.
Yeah. Check that one out. And then for next week, we will be talking about Made You Look, the art documentary about art forgery. Made You Look, a real story about fake art and maybe some of the more upper class, what is it? Upper salary. Yeah.
Upper crust.
Yeah. As
I call it, the upper crust.
The upper crust, yes. So check that one out. Also streaming on Netflix, Made You Look, an art documentary. So really cool one. Talks about art forgery and that whole world. So that one's one of my picks. I loved that documentary when it came out. And so that will be my pick for next week. I will release that video as Katie very well said, as soon as I finish editing it, and we'll get that out there some weeks earlier than others. But I think what's really working about that is gives people time to watch the video and leave comments, and then we have comments to talk about, and it gives people a little bit more time instead of just watching the premiere and then going right to the live, and it breaks it up a little bit. And frankly, it's so much better for my schedule. So I think this is going to work out just fine for us. So as Katie said,
I think it works better for us too, because now it's a clean break. We go into something new, right?
That's right. I agree. Clean break. Yeah. And as Katie said, please like and subscribe. It fuels the channel. It helps the channel grow. Share those videos on Facebook and X or wherever you share videos. And that's it for today. This has been Documentary Club. We covered Take Care of Maya. Thank you so much. We'll see you guys on the next one.